Okay. Hey, how's it going? My name is Daniel McQueen. This is the Millionaire McQueen channel. This is a channel where it's kind of just me on my journey to becoming a millionaire. And so today what I'm going to talk about is kind of what it's like to be a full-time gig worker. I've been a full-time gig worker for about 8 or 9 years now. And so it's kind of like there's a lot of stuff that I've learned that maybe I can share with some of you guys out there. Maybe you quit your job, or maybe you lost your job and you're searching for work, and meanwhile you want to work gig work, or maybe you don't want to work your job anymore. You want to be an entrepreneur. You want to pursue a millionaire lifestyle. If you're that type of person, then stay tuned. So what I'm going to talk about is basically my experiences working as a full-time gig worker. I started off as an Uber driver when I was 21 years old. That was back in 2016. I'm now 30 years old, and so that's what I was saying. I have a little bit of experience with gig work. So as an Uber driver, it was actually really cool at first. I had never been self-employed. I had worked a couple jobs, fast food restaurants, Burger King, Sonic. I was an exterminator at one point. And then outside of that, maybe a few warehouses, and I also did like temp agency work. And a lot of times I just worked at the airport as like, cleaning the cars or driving the cars, stuff like that. I've even worked at a private dealer auto auction. So when the dealers go buy the cars, I was the one who drove it through while the guy's saying, what about? Okay, so those are some of the things that some of the jobs that I've had, but I haven't really had a job since I was 21 years old. Now, I've worked as an Amazon delivery driver for a DSP driver. That was about 6 years ago or so, and I did that for about a week or two, and then I quit that job. And then I've worked for my father-in-law. He had like a box truck company or whatever, and I've done routes for Amazon under him, and I quit that too. I just feel like, for me personally, I don't like to work a job, and maybe you can understand that or not. I don't know. Some people don't have a problem working a job. They say you need to work a job, or you should work a job. I'm one of the people who is strongly against working a job. Not for other people. If you feel like you can work a job, then who am I to tell you to not work a job, right? But as someone who refuses to work a job, I have a very strong opinion about that. In other words, so basically, I started off as an Uber driver, and at first it was cool. And when I first started off, I don't remember hearing anything about Uber Eats until one day I got a message from Uber saying, hey, we have this new thing called Uber Eats. Would you like to sign up? And so I just signed up. I was already an Uber driver, and so I started accepting trips right away. They had like a bag that they would give you back in the day or whatever, but whatever. That's pretty much all I had to do was sign up, is go pick up this delivery bag. And so I started to deliver Uber Eats. And when I compared my experience as an Uber driver versus an Uber Eats driver, I just figured that I don't want to drive people because they're annoying and they get on my nerves. And that was just my thoughts, whatever, because people always ask you, hey, oh, so you're an Uber driver, so you like being an Uber driver? Oh, does it pay well? Does it do this? Oh, did you go to college? Oh, all this different type of shit. And it's like, it don't really have to be all that personal. Just sit back and shut up, basically. Not to be an asshole, but that's, so to me, it was like, hey, if I could just deliver people's food, the food don't gotta talk to me. So, that was pretty easy. And it got to a point during the pandemic where a lot of restaurants started delivering with Uber Eats. And so Uber Eats was actually to the point where you could go out and you could make a cool, $1,000 a week. And so that's pretty much where I was at for years. And there was really no progress with Uber Eats. And to be honest, there were times when I would take time off from work. I would maybe miss a day or two here, maybe miss an entire week, and I wasn't making that much money to begin with, and so things became problematic in life. I started to have bad credit. You know, eventually because of bad credit, I couldn't get approved for an apartment. I was living at home with my mom. I was staying with my mother-in-law. You know, me and my family, I have 3 kids now. And so this is why I'm making this video, actually, because a lot of people, they want to just quit their job and think that they're going to get rich. And I was one of those people who thought that that's how it works. I thought that if you just want to be rich in life, that you just get rich. And I believed in like the law of attraction. And so I was thinking that, okay, well, if I can believe it, I can achieve it. And, you know, I was listening to Will Smith on like The Pursuit of Happiness. He who believes he can and can are both usually right, whatever. Like I was just in that zone where I was like, I can do whatever I put my mind to. And so I started to go to the internet and search how to become wealthy. And obviously, being a naive, young, wishful thinker, someone who wants to be an entrepreneur, obviously I fell right into the traps of a lot of quote-unquote gurus, right? A lot of these people will say, hey, you want to make money online? Hey, social media marketing. Hey, drop shipping. Hey, Amazon FBA. All these different things. Hey, start a YouTube channel. I've done all those things. Well, but here's the kicker. I actually didn't do any of those things, because it doesn't matter what you do to make money, because in every... Oh, damn, hold on. Okay, sorry, I had an alarm there. So basically, in every single scenario that you can think of, no matter what way you think about making money, somebody's out there doing it successfully right now, so there's no excuses for why you can't do it. However, I will say that it helps if you have some type of connection to what, like, maybe you have a certain experience or a certain skill set, or you have a certain interest. Maybe it would help to go down that lane. Don't just look specifically at how much money can I make doing something, because a lot of people will tell you, a lot of high earners, 6-figure earners, they will tell you that their life is not as glorious as it seems, because they're not happy with their job. You know, so if you don't like what you're doing, then it feels like work. But if you enjoy what you do, then it doesn't feel like that. And so actually, that's kind of another reason why I became an entrepreneur, is because when I went to college, right before I dropped out, I was changing my major like continuously. And I just would go to the counselor and I would say dumb shit like this, right? For example, I went to the counselor and I was like, what can I do, like, if I like to speak, you know? Because when I was younger, they called me preacher man because I was good at public speaking. I would get in front of the high school. I would go on retreats. I would always be the one who was giving speeches, and I had a lot of opportunities to give like speeches at a young age, and it was something to me, like, it wasn't hard. Like, some people just can't speak publicly. I don't know why, for whatever reason, but I could, and so I enjoyed it, and I actually like to, like, not necessarily control the crowd, but like engage with them, and like I kind of would, you know, set a tone to where, hey, I'm not perfect, you know, none of us are perfect, so let's just all drop our guards down and just have fun. And so that was what worked for me, you know, as a public speaker or whatever. I actually forgot what I was talking about. I may have to edit this part of the video. So going back to what I was saying about being an Uber driver and not wanting to talk to people, because number one, I dropped out of school, and so I don't want to hear, hey, have you ever gone to school? Did you go to school, or what type of career are you looking for? I don't want to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, as a young entrepreneur, like someone who's trying to figure it out, I don't really want to hear somebody tell me to go back to school when I already figured that. Oh yeah, this is what I was gonna say. So when I was in school, I felt like I was obviously being forced into a box, and which is why I kept changing my major, which is why I just dropped out. I kind of dropped out because Kanye West, college dropout, Mark Zuckerberg dropout, all these different billionaires dropped out, all these, you know, successful people who dropped out. And in a sense, like, yeah, you can drop out of school and like become wealthy or whatever, but like you can basically become wealthy from any situation of life. It doesn't matter what you've gone through. Some would actually say that adversity, you know, makes it better, because now you actually are a person who has something that you're fighting, like you have a chip on your shoulder or whatever, right? So when I dropped out of school, I was just thinking, fuck the mainstream, fuck getting a job. Like, that was like, I'm just being honest with you. I was just against all that. And I was like, I'm definitely not gonna work a 9-to-5 job and have somebody tell me what to do. And so if you're a person like that who thinks like that, then guess what? It's gonna probably happen to you if you don't plan correctly, right? So if you quit your job, if you choose not to work a job, then you may end up living at your mom's house, which I didn't think was the worst thing in the world, you know, but as an entrepreneur trying to figure stuff out, obviously I wasn't making enough money to sustain on my own, especially while starting a family. And so, yes, my parents did help us for a long time. We stayed with them, and I appreciate them. And I no longer live with them. I actually moved to Dallas, Texas with my wife and my 3 kids. But the thing about, like I was saying earlier, people who work a job, some of them may not be happy working their job. And so a lot of people are now looking to gig work and stuff like that. And I'm just gonna be honest with you, gig work is not something that you should strive for. It's actually something to supplement your income. I would say, like, if you wanted my personal advice about should you be a full-time gig worker, I would encourage most people to either, if they can work a job, to get a job or stay at their job, and don't quit until you have figured out what type of business you want to get into. And don't just look to the internet to find out what type of business you want to get into. If you like to cook, figure out how you could either make cooking videos or recipe books or some type of blog or some type of restaurant or a food truck or a food stand or catering, or, you know, you see what I'm saying? So it just depends. Like, I would just focus more, instead of scouring the internet, getting funneled into these like sales funnels where people are trying to just sell you a course or a mentorship or a program or a webinar or whatever the hell these people are selling nowadays. I would say, instead of buying into that, what you should do is you should look into yourself and see, hey, what type of person am I? Like, you should see where you want to get to, set a goal, say, hey, I want to, like, I like to keep it simple, man. Like, I used to think being a millionaire was about buying a Lamborghini, buying a Ferrari, whatever, right? But now I think a millionaire is just someone who can afford to buy their time back. And so what does that look like for you? You have to look at your cost, your living expenses, the cost of your living expenses versus the income that you're bringing in. And so for some people, a job may be enough to cover their living expenses, and that's actually, like, I don't know if you're cool with that, whatever, but if you want to buy back your time, now you have to figure out extra ways to make money, whether you do it through real estate, you invest into the stock market, however you do that. There's a lot of different ways that you can chop it up and that you can do that. There's not just one cookie cutter way. And so me personally, what I'm doing right now, I started off, like I said, as an Uber driver, and I failed at it. Essentially, I wasn't able to cover my basic expenses, and so I ended up living at my mom's house. And it got to a point to where I looked myself in the mirror and I said, what are we gonna do? And so I started to drive for Amazon Flex and Shipt, and I started delivering packages for Target and Amazon. And so when I started doing that, then, see, because the problem with Uber or some gigs is that you don't have a guaranteed pay. Like, you have to go online and then, like, accept requests or whatever. But with Amazon, you can schedule out your blocks and it'll be a specific amount. Now, some people may complain about the amount. For example, a 3-hour route may pay $64 out here in Dallas, Texas. And some people may say that, well, that's not enough. I mean, but the way I do it is I do 3-4 routes a day. And so now I'm making, you know, $200 to $300 a day. And so that's how I'm able to maintain. And then I understand my cost. And so I'm able to do it that way. What I would like to get into is I would like to get a contract so that I can, basically, if I get a contract, then I have a dedicated route and I won't have to essentially compete for routes day to day or week to week. Like with Amazon, you can schedule out some of your routes up to a week in advance or whatever, but for the most part, you're just going to be going on to a route, on the Amazon app, there's routes that you can check to see what's available in your area or at the time. And so instead of having to do that, it would be nice to just have a dedicated route where I know that I have at least, 5 days of solid work every single week or whatever, and then I could supplement that income with Amazon and Target and do things like that. So that's why I say the number one thing that you should do is just figure out what you're good at, or what something that you could do. That's going to be the number one thing. And I would say don't focus on the money, because in reality, a lot of businesses, like you look at McDonald's and you think, wow, McDonald's just making a lot of money. Well, McDonald's is very smart, because they actually don't sell food. They sell land to franchise owners, who then have to turn around and sell the food to you, and they cover the marketing and all this different type of stuff. So when you see a McDonald's, it's usually a franchise-owned McDonald's, which means that an independent business owner actually owns that specific branch or that specific location, and then they're the ones required to hire the employees, to pay all the marketing fees and all this different type of stuff. And so yes, a McDonald's may generate $1 to $3 million per year, but the owner may only bring in about, you know, $100,000 to $300,000 per year. And that's, you know, basically if he worked it himself, or if they worked it themselves, you know. But if they hired people to manage, well, obviously you have certain managers, but I'm saying like someone to be the head of operations within that location, then they may even make less money, because you're gonna have to pay somebody a good amount of money to then manage your McDonald's. And so I just want people to understand that yes, the McDonald's may generate $1 to $3 million, but the person is only bringing about 10% profit margin. And so that's the thing that you have to understand about businesses, is that a lot of times when you see people say how to make $10,000 a month, how to do this, how to do that, like these people still have costs associated with their business, and so not everything is profit. So since everything's not profit, that means that don't look at their numbers and think that, oh, I need to get into this business because I want to make $10,000 a month, when they may not actually be bringing in $10,000 a month, especially after paying taxes and things like that. And so the best way that you can get into a position where you can actually be successful in life is, number one, you have to figure out a business and stick to it. Because the reason why I failed in, like, when I tried to do Amazon FBA or drop shipping or start a YouTube channel, is because I didn't actually see it through. It's going to take a very long time to build a business, and you know, so you have to be patient. Don't be impatient when it comes to building your business, you know what I mean? Like, but number one, you have to find a business. There's a lots of business opportunities. What are you good at? If I was an Uber driver for 8 years, one thing I realized I was good at is driving. And so I started to look into the logistics industry and try to see how can I start a business. And so now I have a cargo van, and I'm looking for a contract so that I can, you know, then have a business to where now I can cover my costs, and now I can start putting away some extra money, start building up my credit, my personal credit, my business credit. And then from there, now I can scale the business and I can grow. And then with excess money that I have, then I can reallocate those funds so that my dollars can make money for me. So I can make investments, whether in real estate, stock market, Bitcoin, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But the first step is to actually start making money. So if you have a job right now and it pays well, then your best bet would probably be to stay at that job, unless you're in a position to where either you don't have high living expenses or you don't have mouths to feed. Because if you have kids and stuff like that, obviously it can be reckless to be an entrepreneur. But I didn't let that stop me, and I wouldn't say to let that stop you. But I have to end this video. But like I said, this is going to be a video about my journey on my way to becoming a millionaire. And so if you like this type of content, then just like, subscribe, maybe drop a comment down below. What do you do? Like, are you someone who wants to be a full-time entrepreneur? Are you someone who hates their job? Just let me know in the comment section below. And thank you again. My name is Daniel. This is the Millionaire McQueen channel, and so we're gonna keep it rocking out. I'm gonna be posting a lot, so have a good day.